If you're watching this, you're probably not fat, but you're definitely not lean either. And you have just enough body fat to hide all your muscle and just enough muscle to convince yourself the work you're putting in the gym is sort of paying off. So every morning you stand in front of the mirror thinking, maybe if I lose another 5 pounds, then you lose 5 pounds and you somehow look exactly the same. You've tried bulking and your stomach just gets bigger. You try cutting and your arms just look skinny. And somehow after years of trying to get in shape, you still look like a guy who just kind of works out. If that sounds familiar, you're making the exact mistake almost every skinny fat guy makes. And the worst part is, it's probably not the mistake you think. Because most skinny fat guys think their problem is that they have too much body fat. They don't. At least not as much as they think. The real problem is they don't have enough muscle. Think about it. If you have no muscle, what exactly are you trying to reveal when you diet down? You can lose 20 pounds and you can even lose 30 pounds. But if there's nothing underneath, you're not going to suddenly look like how you want to. You just look like a smaller version of yourself. And after talking to hundreds of guys that have been stuck in this loop, I've noticed a pattern. Most skinny fat guys are trying to fix it, and they're actually doing a lot of things right. They're showing up to the gym, trying to eat healthier, and watching endless fitness videos like this. But despite all your effort, it feels like nothing is really changing with your physique. So in this video, I'm going to solve that problem for good so you know exactly what to do, because that's the goal with my channel. To simplify all the overcomplication online and give you one place where you can learn how to get lean and build the physique you've wanted for years. So let's start with someone that's actually in your shoes. This is one of my guys, Blake, who's 25 years old, was doing pretty good at work, was hitting the gym, and from the outside, most people would have said he looked fine. But every time he looked in the mirror, he'd have that same thought. I work way too hard to still look like this. Because despite going to the gym and trying to eat healthy, he still had that soft look around his stomach and he just wanted to see his abs. And so many skinny fat guys get stuck here. They think the answer is choosing between a bulk or a cut. But that's the wrong question. And after Blake and I had our first call, he finally realized what the issue was. Because instead of asking, should I bulk or should I cut, we asked a much better question. How do we build muscle while still getting rid of body fat? Because that's what skinny fat guys actually need. And it's called a body recomposition. But we did it in a way that's different than all the advice you get online. So here's how me and Blake finally got his abs to come in step by step so you can just copy what he did. Now, the first thing we had to do was stop crash dieting. And instead of cutting out his carbs and putting him on super low calories, we actually added more food. We had him eating a little above his maintenance on training days with carbs like rice cakes and honey before his lifts. Because one thing most people don't realize is that carbs fuel your workouts. And you can only build muscle when one of three things happen. You either get stronger, push harder, or add more reps. If your workouts suck because you're exhausted and starving all the time, your body literally has no reason to build muscle. Then, on rest days, we'd pull his calories down slightly, mainly by lowering his carbs, and not because carbs make you fat, but because he simply didn't need as much fuel on days he wasn't training. This is called carb cycling, and it allowed us to create a small deficit across the week without sacrificing the quality of his training. And this is where most skinny fat guys get it completely backwards. They try to lose fat first and build muscle later. Instead, we focused on building muscle first while letting fat loss happen in the background. The second thing we had to change was his cardio, because most skinny fat guys either avoid cardio completely or they try to punish themselves with it. They think if they run more and eat less, they'll get the physique they want. But all they end up doing is making recovery harder, which means less muscle being built. So instead of that, we do what I call low intensity cardio, or LISS. This is basically 2 walks a day and an incline treadmill session at the gym at level 10 and speed 3 for 20 to 30 minutes after your workouts and sometimes on rest days. If you put your hands on the rails, your heart rate should be about 110 to 130 beats per minute. Anything higher than that, and you're actually burning less fat and making it harder to recover. We use the gym to build muscle, and we use cardio to increase his calorie deficit. They both play 2 different roles in getting the body you want, but if you don't do either right, you'll just stay stuck. And once Blake understood that, things started moving quickly. He got way stronger in the gym. His shoulders got broader, his chest started filling out, and his arms finally started growing. Then eventually, as he actually followed the plan we created for him, something happened that had never happened before. He actually started seeing his abs. And not because I had him killing himself with some intense cardio or long runs all week, but because we finally spent enough time building muscle without gaining body fat. And that's really the secret to fixing skinny fat. Most people treat it like a fat loss problem. It's not. It's a muscle building problem with a little bit of body fat attached to it, which means the answer isn't starving yourself. It's building enough muscle that when you get lean, you actually look good. So if you're skinny fat right now, here's exactly what I'd do. I'd first stop trying to lose weight as fast as possible. Then I'd eat enough food to have a really good workout. You should be eating at least your body weight in grams of protein and keeping carbs high enough to fuel your workouts. Then you should use low intensity cardio every day to create your deficit and focus on getting stronger every single month on your workouts. But most importantly, You have to stop switching plans every 3 weeks. That's the biggest issue. You haven't ever been consistent with one approach before. You constantly see some new trend or feel like you're gaining too much fat on the bulk or losing too much muscle on the cut. Getting in shape is a lifestyle and you have to commit to it long term. But honestly, it's way simpler than people make it online. And that's why I built out the Lean Body Accelerator, which is basically a step-by-step plan to getting lean, no matter your starting point or your age. It's up to you if you want to join. Again, my goal with my channel is to give you guys all the knowledge you need for free. The program is just my way of building a community of guys who are all working towards the same goals, with a simple plan that they know works for guys like them. It's got all the protocols I implement personally into my one-on-one guys' lives, like Blake and all the other transformations you see on my channel. And if you want a video going over my 4-day workout routine to build an aesthetic body as you lose the fat, you should watch this video next. Talk to you then. Peace.